Welcome back to another episode of the I'm Not a Hater podcast featuring your favorite not hater, Mr. Brown, with a topic that most people have a hard time doing in life: forgiving and forgetting. It's definitely an old saying, but to forgive and forget is also one of the hardest things you can do in life, especially when someone's wronged you, in your opinion, right? To just forgive and forget would mean, even when you're upset, it takes like a next level of patience and grace that most people really don't have. Myself personally, I'm a very forgiving person. I rarely hold grudges. I don't see the point, because how are you growing and learning as a person if you're harboring hurt? Let that thing go. Start living your life again. It's not easy, as I'm making it sound, but it can be done. I have at least 3 steps with some added, points and things of that nature to help you get through your forgiving and forgiveness points of your journey, right? Because we all gonna go through it at some point where we gotta forgive somebody and basically kind of let it go and forget it. So, number one on my list, the first thing, acknowledge the hurt. This means to accept that whatever the bad thing was, and you can name your own bad things that have happened, accept that it happened. It could have been avoided, but it wasn't. Sit with it. This is going to take some time. Cry if you have to, but basically at this point, just deal with the fact that, yes, I went through such and such struggle. Okay? That's the first thing. Secondly, if it's a real deep-seated issue, ask yourself why somebody would do it to you. Somebody would do something so hurtful to a person like you. If you feel like, you're a great person, ask yourself why somebody would do something hurtful to you. Was there a reason that they hurt you? Was there something that you did in the past to them that you didn't personally atone for? And when I say atone, like you didn't make up for what you did. You left the door open for indiscretion. Whatever the case may be, right? But in this step 2, like, I suggest that you sit through it. You can't rush through this step. You got to dissect that and, often come to the bottom of it with some type of solution or some type of reason as to why, that happened. And it is going to hurt, right? It is going to be one of those painful things, because nobody wants to have to sit and think like why somebody would do something hurtful to them. But in your forgiveness path or forgiveness journey, it is necessary, because you're going to have to remember that, but then also get to a point where you can get past it and forgive the person for, whatever they did to you in the past, right? Because the past hurts, but you have to heal from it. You got to move on. Now, there's plenty of steps in these, in these journeys that you should take. I'm only highlighting the ones that are important in my opinion. Okay? Like, there were plenty of them that you could do. But I will say this, right? Because most times people say forgive and forget, forget I ever existed, or delete me out your memory. They say many different things. But if the person is important to you, what they don't talk about is taking the steps to repair the relationship, right? You're going to have to start from ground zero when it comes to repairing a relationship. And that may be, if it was a romantic thing, going back to being just friends. And if you two are still on the similar journeys when it comes to romance and love, working your way back to that. I'm an optimistic person, so I often believe that, some stories aren't finished being written yet, and that you can, you can repair it if you can. So, don't let, if your forgiveness package or whatever comes with you repairing it and making things better, then by all means go for that. But if yours, is just like, hey, I'm gonna forgive you, but you don't exist in me anymore, then hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. And hopefully that person or persons or whatever can understand that, and can move forward as such. But it can happen. So don't give up on it if if you don't want to, if you could help it. But finally, after acknowledging it and then asking why it would happen, um, then you can start the point of forgetting. Right? You can get to the point where you can forget what happened to you, and you could do that in a number of different ways. Picking up hobbies is always a good thing. Doing something completely different from whatever the norm was at the time when that thing happened can definitely heal, can definitely change your mindset. And also, remember, like, and this is along the lines with religion, for the religious people out there, remember that God has forgiven us many times and has forgotten the terrible things that we do to people on a daily basis. And remember, it's a process. It's not going to happen in one day, but you'll get to the point when you're able to forgive and forget soon enough. Um, like I said before, me personally, I don't hold grudges. Um, and I'm often able to forgive and forget. I would say rather quickly. I don't think I've ever been so angry at a person that I can't ever speak to them again. Now, it may not be on the level of what it once was, but like I said, you can eventually get to that point where you know you can move forward and be great. And because ultimately too, what I've learned over time is that while you stuck and wallowing and being sad, that person, or again persons or people, they're living their life. So you don't ever want to get stuck so much in a rut that you can't live your life and do what you need to do too to be a productive member in society. Don't ever get that caught up or that stuck in these type of situations. You are able to forgive, you are able to move on, you are able to be better than what you were before. And that's just the real truth. I look at it like you can't let people stop you from being who you ultimately are supposed to be in life. And with that, you're gonna forgive, you're gonna make peace with it, and then you're gonna move forward. Because guess what? They're moving forward with whatever they got to do. But like I said, if they mean something to you, remember, if they mean something to you, take the time to repair that relationship, in whatever level you choose to. It doesn't have to go back to level 100 right away, but take it slow. Start from the bottom and work your way back up. And if you realize along the way, like, hey, this ain't really working, then move on from it. But at least you tried. At least you gave it a shot. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. Forgiveness is definitely hard. It takes time. It's a process. But with these tips and a positive mindset and optimism, I'm pretty sure that you can make these things happen. And not to ramble on or go on too long, I just want to say I appreciate everybody that's been watching and tuning into the podcast, telling a friend to tell a friend. Please do the same with this episode and the ones to come. I thank you all, and I'm going to say peace and love. I'll see you soon.